Welcome back to another episode of Camp Time is Real Time. I'm your host, Sarah Lebreck, and this week we're talking to Billy Rice. I talked to Billy the second week at camp this past year during the first of many 7-day heat waves. We talked a lot about the summer that was going on, and we also got a lot into Billy's story of growing up at camp and everything it takes behind the scenes to make camp such a wonderful place it is. This is an excellent conversation. Billy's getting married this week. So if you're listening to this after September 17th, he's already married. So exciting stuff going on for Billy. So you're really going to enjoy the conversation. Hey, and if you're enjoying these conversations, boy, would I like to hear from you. Give me this is going to be a good one, you guys. All right. So send me an email, camptimefcdc@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, camptime_realtime. And we are on TikTok. We are TikToking. So it's camptime_realtime over on TikTok. And that is brand continuity. And we also have a YouTube page where you will be able to see this whole podcast and all of my weird facial expressions on video over on YouTube. It's YouTube. I don't even know what it's called. We'll check on it next week. I think it's Camp Time is Real Time. So we have a director of social media. Maybe you've heard of him, Freddie Beckman. He's doing an awesome job bringing us into the 21st century with social media and everything. So check us out on YouTube, check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and shoot me an email if you're an old and that's how you communicate. Definitely still need to hear from you guys. So that's my pitch. But for today, enjoy the conversation with Billy, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye. When did you start camp? Like, what's your earliest memory of camp or like being at camp?
It's so funny that you say that because like when Todd was on the pod, he's like talking about how I used to be in the house when I was like probably 2 or 3 and I'd get to do swimming lessons with him every day.
Yeah.
That's like literally the only vivid memory I have at camp. He's like, he'll probably never remember this, but I'm like, that's like the only vivid memory I have is like a little kid there was sitting in the house like, when do I get to see Todd? Like, so excited, get like all fired up in the house and just like I'd run right out and like jump in his arms every time for swim lessons.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool. When you're saying that, I was like, no, you're totally wrong about that.
Yeah,
literally the only memory I really have as a little guy.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So made an impact. So what was it like? Because I think people want to know, like when I talk to any Cowles or like anyone in the scoop, like people want to know, like, what's it like behind the scenes? So like, who's in your tribe growing up? Like, who would we know of like campers who are your age?
Not many of them lasted that long. I think the longest lasting was maybe like Karen Moss. I don't know if you remember Karen Moss.
Yeah, I remember Karen Moss.
And then they also had like Sam Adler. He didn't become a counselor, but he went 6 weeks with me every single year. We were good friends in school and camp.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think. And there's like Tommy. There's a bunch of Medfield kids that I grew up with there. It was like Tommy Terracano and like yeah. Those were a big Medfield group.
Of course. Yeah. We're
Tom's
learning
recruiting.
Yeah, that's the lifeblood of this camp, actually. Yeah. So when you're growing up and even like as a young age, are you doing stuff like before camp, like after the camp day to like get the camp ready, or does that not start till later?
Yeah, growing up, I'd say I probably didn't start, like I would start helping out maybe when I was like Choctaw explorer age, and I'd start to like help out before camp. Grammy would be like, do you want to work, help out, I'll pay you. I'm like, yeah, of course. So like, I would say like Choctaw age, I would start helping out doing things around the yard and that kind of stuff. But
so really... do you guys like shape the bushes and stuff? Is that you?
Well, Gail did that for forever, and then probably I'd say about 10 years ago I took over doing all that stuff. So
yeah,
trim all those hedges, all the bushes, the dragon, everything.
Oh my gosh, that's
a lot of work.
Yeah, well, I saw that the dragon was like front and center on one of the brochures maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was the title page or the cover page rather.
Yeah, it was that was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, so she built, or she planted. Actually, you'll see it at the 50th party, but we have an old like aerial photograph from the camp. I don't know if I want to say it's like late 70s or early 80s. So she planted almost all those trees there. They were, on the aerial photo, you can see they're just little tiny, like 4-foot trees, and you can see them all now, but it's a really cool photo. But
come on,
she planted all those, she shaped them all in the shapes they are. And then and for the last, for 40 years, she trimmed them all herself, and then just had a couple guys help. And then now I just do them all myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So when she got the camp, was it Sherwood Forest, right? That's what it was called before.
Yep.
So did she just kind of keep it kind of as is, or like, it sounds like she added like a bunch of stuff to
No, she definitely added a bunch of stuff, but yeah. So she actually went to Disney World to check out because they had all the trees that were in these like crazy shapes of like the entrance of Disney World. So she flew down there to check out the trees and see how they did it. And then came to find out that they actually weren't real trees. They were fake. They just looked real. But she went down there anyway just to find that out. But then I don't know if you remember the big teddy bear that was by the behind where the flagpole was.
Yep.
I mean, it probably died 10, 15 years ago, but I guess she somehow built that thing into a massive pine teddy bear. I don't know how she did it, but she did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like Disney was like, you can't do this naturally. Like, we'll just get it. And Gail's like, yeah,
exactly.
Wow. That's crazy. I had no idea about that, man. So when you're like, I guess like throughout, like during the whole off season, like, because you lived in Franklin, like they're in Franklin, obviously, right. Like, is it just camp all the time, or is there like a lull at some point?
Yeah. As soon as camp ends, like she usually hires we used to hire like maybe 4 guys, and I would started doing it probably when I was like, I don't know, 16. We just take everything comes down to one day. You wouldn't believe, like, if you go to camp on the Sunday after camp ends, it looks like nothing happened there. It's just dead brown grass, and there's no tents, nothing left, no sign of camp at all.
Wow.
And then there's always like projects and stuff we're doing up until I want to say like end of September, and then there's like that's when the lull begins. I'd say like October, November, and then I'll right up about till Christmas is the lull, and then gets fired back up for registration.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this year probably going to be a little bit going on in September, I would imagine, though.
It might be a little bit different.
What day is the wedding?
It's September 17th.
All right. Oh my God.
That's gonna be awesome.
You have a bunch of camp people going?
Oh yeah, there's a good chunk. Got all the Cowles, the Giddings, Scott Howe, Ty.
Nice.
Freddie. So there's a good chunk of them.
They're going to be like, congratulations, we're taking all of this in.
Yeah, right.
Like, good for you, I guess.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, so usually like after camp too, I'm like, took me, from January, I do all the registration right up until March. So that really slows down, and then just nonstop getting the grounds ready. And then it's the 6 weeks of camp. So after that, usually after camp, I'm like, all right, I need a quick break. I need to get out of here for a few weeks. But like this year, it's not gonna be like that. It'll be there every day doing stuff in the yard, get that that grass back green again. It's hurting right now with the lack of rainfall.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's brutal, and this heat's not helping any either.
No, I wouldn't imagine. I definitely remember years though when it was like super dry like this, and it's just like, hey, like there's just like nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, we're almost 2 weeks in now and I haven't mowed the lawn yet. It's just like it's not growing anymore.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, what would you rather have though, like the extreme heat or rain?
I'd say the extreme heat. We had the complete opposite last year. I don't know if you remember, but we had archery. I had to go out and buy like 3/4 inch plywood, cut like strips so kids could walk into archery because it was just so muddy.
Oh,
and then the kids were shooting off pallets with plywood on top because you couldn't stand there anymore.
Oh my God!
It was like 6 inches of mud, and then all the so that whole area. That's like 2 groups eat lunch too, and it's just so muddy and wet that it just like kind of had this stench going down there. Just like just down there, and Sam Sam's like, is there like some kind of like sewage line or something down here? Like, I don't know. I'm like, no, it's just really wet. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. He's like, you sure? I'm like, I'm positive. Yeah, it
Just
was
hanging up
crazy.
like Febreze cleaners. Like, does
Yeah,
it
even
help?
like I asked Tom, he's like, going back, do you ever remember this? Something like this? Because like couldn't use the games field. We had to take
Yeah.
pallets to get out into the woods because there was, a good 6 inches of water running on the other side of the bridge.
Oh my God.
Well, definitely take the heat.
Yep. Yep. That works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. At least there's no in between.
Right.
We're in the middle of it looks like it's going to be like 7 or 8 days when it's all told. And then it's going to come down to like 88.
Yeah,
So
I was just looking around like, oh, at least next week's gonna be high 80s. It's gonna be awesome.
it will feel really good. But
Oh, it'll feel
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No, that pool is going to feel awesome. That's
I know.
it. You hop in, you
It's- First year we haven't had too many complaints about the water in the morning.
no, absolutely. Like first swim lessons, I'll take it. Were you psyched to work there, or is there something that like the gloss kind of is off a little, just like, well, I know I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, so I don't know. I grew up there, obviously I wasn't, we'll start from the beginning a little bit, but yeah, I
Sure.
wasn't maybe the best behaved at camp. I
Yeah.
don't know, I feel like some counselors probably didn't want me in their group, their tribe, because kind of always up to mischief and getting in trouble. Like Tom used to see me frequently, but like I like see him a good amount in the office. I don't know if anybody ever knew that. Gail really never knew it until later in life because he just like Gail's like, oh, how's Billy doing? Oh, everything's great. He's doing awesome. Like he's just been in here twice today. He's
You get
always
sent to
looking.
Tom?
Oh yeah.
Who? Wow. Who would send you to Tom? I'd be like, I don't know. He's
One of us always I'd send or Tom would like catch me doing something. Other people would be scared to send me like, we need to talk. We need to talk. Or like someone would tell him maybe and he'd bring me in. But
yeah.
yeah, I think maybe the counselors might have been a little bit afraid to send me there, but no.
Yeah.
I was there a
100%.
few times. I guess probably I kind of felt like I could do whatever I want. I felt like I owned the place, which I sort of kind of could.
And now you do. Yeah.
Now I do, yeah. Like, yeah. So then like, I guess as like a C, I was excited to be a CIT, but I obviously knew I was going to be a CIT. There was no like doubt in my mind. So I was like,
Right.
it's not like for other kids where they're probably like all winter, like, please pick me, please pick me. And I'm just like, I knew I was going to be one. It's still a little exciting, but I
Yeah.
also had like the kind of like the too cool for camp aid, like little spout, probably like second year CIT assistant.
Hmm.
I actually took 1 year off. I actually didn't work at camp. I forget. I was like had like a job, like I was like working for like a roofer. I think I was like
Really?
18, 17 or 18, I think. Yeah, I was like just that too. I was like, I don't really care. I don't really want to do this. Wasn't that into it then. It was weird. You think I wasn't always this into camp, but and
Wow.
then just and then so I took the year off and I was like, no, I want to go back. So I just obviously come back and I think was I assistant? Was that years? I might have had like one more year as an assistant
Hmm.
and then got to be a head counselor, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then started to get back in like the camp, like, wow, this place is amazing. This is like such a special place. It's amazing. Like, yeah, I guess I had those couple of years where I wasn't out about it, but then, kind of came back and I was like, oh, this place is special. There's nothing like it, So
So
never looked back from there.
it's interesting you say that because I know I was gone at that point, just
Yeah.
whenever you weren't there, but I'm still in touch with Kat Netting. And when you came back, I'm not sure if it's the first year you came back or whatever year it was, but she was like, Billy's the best counselor we have. She's like, he has done like crazy turnaround, is like all in. He's awesome. And I was like, get out of town. And she's like, yeah. And like, it was like, and I brought it up to her on the pod. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But like, I remember
Yeah.
saying that. And then it was like, yeah, then you were ahead and then I like started hearing that you were like taking on more and more. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's in, like, he really gets it.
It went from like, then I was ahead when I started in pioneering, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
My first tribe was as a head counselor, what, Trisha Giddings, Katie DiBiasio, Shay Mitchell. They were all my first campers when I was a head counselor. It was super cool. Like now I like Shay's one of my camp friends. I like hang out outside out of camp. It's like,
right.
Hey, you're my first camper.
Yep.
now we're at the bar together. So funny. And then
That's great.
I did pioneering for a couple of years, and then like my second year was I had Freddie as my camper, who now we're like really good friends, which is too funny.
Oh my god.
His mother I think he told you that his mother used to hate me. Like come home telling Billy stories, like, what is this kid doing with you guys at camp?
Don't worry about it. He's made a turnaround.
Yeah. So then where'd I go? And then I switched it up to, I think that's like one of last year's suited woodworking. So I was like, I guess I'll take a woodworking over.
Oh yeah.
Did that for a couple of years. I'd never do that again. What a nightmare.
What did you not, what was tough about woodworking?
Just
Just
like one that I'm just a terrible artist. So you're doing like all those 3D animals. You got to like draw things. I'd be like calling mom, like, so you got to come in here for like the explorers. You need to draw all these. I can't draw, like, takes me an hour to draw one 3D thing for them to cut. I got 15 kids sitting here waiting to start projects. Just like, yeah, just like that. That was that aspect of it. It's like constant drawing and I don't know. Yeah. Just in that wood shop. Wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
But like Cam's in there now. He does an awesome job. He seems to love it. Like just cranks his tunes and just goes. But it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Well, plus you can like see the pool through the door and you're just like, oh, there's the rest of camp. What's going on out there?
Just stuck in that barn all day.
Yep.
Right. And then I moved to boating, I think, which was awesome. I loved boating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I went up to the pool.
Yeah.
For a couple of years. I was like working on with Kelly as like pool directors. And then that was it. Then I decided maybe I'll just run the place instead.
Yeah. Is it so how long have you been doing like that? How long since you've been a lifeguard? Has it been a couple of years?
So I actually worked was it last year? I was a lifeguard last year.
Oh, okay.
I was like, the pool director with Kelly last year, which was fine, but probably wasn't the best for her because I was absolutely never there. There was just so much other stuff going on. That's why I was like, can't do this again. But like, last year was kind of last year, that was the first year I was actually like around doing behind the scenes things, like running it, talking with all the parents, dealing with all that. So
yeah,
as I'm trying to like teach lessons and things, there was just like so many fires. And last year was like, I mean, a great year for everyone. No one really noticed probably anything. Everything seemed like, I talked to Ty, but he's like, I had no idea. Everything seemed so great. Everything was awesome. But like behind the scenes, it was just like Sam and I were just like putting out fires left and right, and just like it was stressful. I was like, this isn't that fun.
Right.
Like, it was so much fun, like at camp, seeing everybody and like seeing how it didn't affect any of the kids. The kids are still having the best time of their lives, but like we were really stressed out. It was a hard year, and like luckily I had Sam, who's just he's good at everything he does, the best at everything he does. So that helps obviously, and like you can just give him like open reign to do whatever he wants because he's doesn't make bad decisions.
Yep, I know it's bananas. Well, so Carrie mentioned it when I talked to her that like you guys were doing so much stuff, last year especially. And from a parent perspective, I told her this. So the communication I got from camp, in like before you decided to cancel for 2020, just like we're watching it, we're not sure. And then like when you made the call and everything, it was more communication than I got from my kids' daycare. It was unbelievable.
I love that.
It was great. Yeah. And then when you sent out the video, when they made the video, like, and like, this is camp, like, it was just really great. And then, like the holiday card was like, oh, that was amazing. And it was just like, it was really cool. And it was like stuff that, you didn't have to do, but it kind of kept up the like, oh, we're like camp family, like just checking in with one another.
Right.
It was awesome. And then like, last year to hear like Carrie's like, you guys were like going to webinars, talking to like Board of Health and everything. And it was like smooth sailing from parents' perspective. So it was like,
I love that. Yeah. That's like, kind of when I kind of started taking over that stuff was like right before that summer. That's why the communication went way up. And like Sam and I are like become real close, great friends. So we're always chatting, always like, I always run things by like, if you think I should send this out or do this, and sounds like a great idea, let's do it. And then
so what is that relationship? Because obviously Sam is like the person that like the kids know of, like as like just the guy who walks around, but like what are you guys doing? Like how does that work both like during camp and like leading up to camp?
I mean, no, we're just like I said, we become great friends and just constantly in communication about everything. Like, if I have an idea, I'll just run it, tell him it, and he's like, "That's great, go with it." Or like, and so I actually happens to do with my wife or my fiance a lot too. She's a 5th grade school teacher.
Oh,
so she's like big on the communication with parents and everything. I'm like, just always throwing ideas at me and just like telling me I should be doing this, should be doing that, and so keep that up, and then. And it helps, the parents love it, they're just like so thankful and like they know what's going on and they get to see more and it just works out so much better.
Yeah, it's been really good. Whose idea was it to do a counselor competition a day this year?
Well, I think this went back for last year. Like I think it was at the end of the year party.
Mm-hmm.
But all the counts like Shay and Freddie and Ty were like 50. I mean, we have to come back regardless of what's going on in our lives. We've got to be here. But like Sam, you got to like promise us that something epic's gonna happen every day. Like we're not coming back unless like something's happening every day. Like he's like, all right, I mean, like, yeah. But he promised that there'll be something epic every single day. So he's been rolling with it hard. Today we had a competition. We had FCDC's Dancing with the Stars, like all in one day. And like how we fit this in, I'm not sure. We had a counselor swim. We had like just everything.
Oh my God. It's
awesome. Like, just a typical Thursday at camp now is competition, Dancing with the Stars, counselors get the free swim.
Jeez, it's awesome. It's like amazing. And I think of kids who like their first year or like whatever younger, like, oh, this is what we do at camp every day.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Yeah. No, we do actually have a lot of first year campers too. And it's just funny. They're like, it's not always going to be like this, I don't think, but now it might have to be.
I know. Like where's
the standard tie here? Yeah. Usually like, you've been at head council orientation, Tom. We used to give out like this daily schedule, like the one that we'd use if there wasn't anything going on.
Right.
We just didn't have one of those this year. It's like, it's just a new schedule they'll pass out every single day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's no master schedule this year. It's going to be different every single day.
That's really cool.
Those are cool too, because Sam does such a good, takes like some time and like thought with those schedules, and there's always like cool things on them and stuff. So cool to get one every day. And there's like, he's been like throwing photos of like people way back in the day, like when they're growing up on the schedule. So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, it's definitely, you can tell like it's appreciated. There's just like like today there were just those balloons at the front, the 2022, just like, I don't know, everything feels special.
I think that those came from just one of our counselors. She had her like graduation party or something, I think, and she just like, I'll just bring these to camp with me. They probably use them. They're like, let's tie them to the fence. Why not, right?
Sure, yeah.
Who doesn't love balloons?
Exactly. Oh, the kids are so happy.
Yeah.
And what's the deal with the mascot ram? What is that?
I don't know if this was like Sam that started this or like Tom's last couple of years, but Gail had there used to be this store in Medway where they used to sell like all costumes and things from movies and stuff. She had like this huge warehouse full of costumes. Gail went in there and just bought like 30 of those like full body costumes, and there's all kinds of different other costumes up top of this the barn. But
oh my God.
So it sounds like the last few years just like, go pick 2 counselors, go up there, pick something out, wear it, and you're gonna just wave to the kids as they walk in, and the kids are just picking them up. I'm like, there's like some cool like full body costumes that are like, it's like a cool bee, like a cow, like some cool things like that. But they decided to just like grab like a lamb head with like a random jacket. I'm like, all right, if that's what you pick, go for it.
All right. Yep. First year CIT, making good decisions all the time.
It's funny too, this year that he was there the second day too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So the story behind that one was the kid just like didn't realize, he thought you have to do that every day. So he went up, and like the second day just came down, and Sam's like, all right, here we go. So Sam goes over to the girl that was doing it with him the day before. It's like, well, so the kid in the costume name was Sam too. So it's like, hey, Olivia, if you want to go, like, leave Sam hanging out there, you want to go put a costume too on, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. She goes, okay. And she just stood there. I'm all set.
Oh, that's great. Oh, is that Sam too?
Yep, Sam too.
So he opened the car door last year, Aiden's first day, and it's kind of like, that's his guy.
That's his guy now. Yeah, I love that.
I like Sam too. That's great.
That's awesome.
So the counselor competition, so heads, assistants, CITs.
Yeah, we brought it back. Pretty cool stuff. Huh?
Amazing. Yeah. So I know that when you came to the podcast and you were binging them and you were like, excuse me, one time the assistants won.
Oh yeah, I had to throw that out there.
So, and then someone else validated that. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty commonplace that like the heads were going to win everything, that's right. Fine. So who was on your team when you guys won?
I think it was me, Mike Lavelle. I want to say Mike Fernandez was there then.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember the Reed brothers from Medfield. There was like Garrett and Austin, a couple.
I've heard the names.
Size, athletic, like lacrosse players. So we had like 4 bodies that were, like
Yeah.
6'1", 6'2", like big guys. Like the heads looks like small compared to us. Like nowadays, like you look at the assistant CITs, they look like children. You know, like
Kids,
we were
yeah.
like grown men,
Yep.
and like I think Tom kind of didn't, because you know how it was back in the day. Like
Yeah.
even if the assistants were good, they weren't winning. Like
No.
somehow the judge is like, oh, heads win.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
the heads always won. But
There's
like,
a loophole. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Tom that year, like he was like, I'll let this one go, and then
Mhm.
yeah, we ended up beating him in the battle. I think it might be like the only battle win ever.
Yeah. Well, so when I was there, it used to be your brother was the person to be scared of in the battle. It
Yeah.
was like, John's going to kill you. Like, it was, you know, and then I'm happy to hear that you took that title on when you got into the battle.
People would be swimming away from me, even if I had the ball.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's like the one like stretch of time at camp where it's like no rules. We're in the pool and like, I hope you make it out, but
yeah, anything goes.
Yeah, like if you don't, like you knew this was coming. Like,
yeah, I think it might have only been 1 year, but I think I was a CIT and I played for the assistants in the battle against John. Yeah, I think it was the 1 year I got to be in the battle against him. Yeah, I left. I didn't leave. I had to get out of the pool for like 30 seconds with a bloody nose. Yeah, it gave me a bloody nose in the pool. I hopped right back in, but yeah, it was a little scary in there.
Oh my gosh.
You know, usually like hold somebody under for like count of 3 or something. He had me under there for like, you know, like 7 to 10. I was like,
yeah. Not okay.
That Grammy yelling at him.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, that was the best because you could always, it was like Gail was like, she's so proud of her grandchildren, right? And she's like in there, like everyone knew who you guys were, you and John and Shannon and like Danielle and Jamin and those guys. And it just was like, it kind of like, I don't know, it kind of helped to kind of make it feel like the like family that it is, right? Because there's an actual family running the place, and then we're all like, oh, we know, like everyone's related. It's good. I think it's awesome. And I think it's great that's still there. Like there's so many like families there now, like teachers with kids and stuff.
Crazy.
When you get so like, because I've mentioned this like several times on the pod, but it's like noticeably the staff is older than it had been, like the median age. Like there are like a lot of teachers, there are a lot of like just like frankly people who know what they're doing.
Right.
Is that like can you tell the difference just like in terms of like how things run or like how things are going, or is it just like I don't know, how would you know? Like,
I mean, I think you can totally tell the difference. Like when I walk around and like see what's going on in activities, like people's activities are just like so well planned and thought out. I remember like when I was a head counselor, there was like so many like of us, the young kids, are like, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just like trying to find like any way to get by 40 minutes to pass without Tom coming out and being like, what are you guys doing out here? Like, I don't know, Tom. we just got back from a hike, I think.
Right.
Like,
what do you think we're doing?
Yeah, now I'm like go out in the woods and like even like Freddie Young, he's only what 20, 21, 22 years old, like has like this plan. They're doing like great things. The kids are loving it.
Yeah.
We like Todd, a brand new counselor who actually came to camp with his son doing woodlore, and he's got like just crazy ideas and it's so well structured and just like so good with the kids, just like everybody, like everywhere you go, every activity, it's just like I don't know when that kind of like started to like change and turn over, but like but it's just the usage is like you know when you were a counselor, you were just like even like tribe time, it's like these are like got like plans for tribe time. They're doing like fun games and things, and I was just like, kids, do a scavenger hunt and get lost and don't come back until that bell rings.
That's right. Yeah. Or like if you do, you know, I'm gonna send you back.
Yeah, you know you're not sitting down if you come back here.
That's right. Or it's like, who wants to go to playground?
Right. Oh yeah, that was I used to be the king of that. Like Tom would always be like, you can't do that, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, okay, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hide and there'll be a playground.
Yeah, it is remarkable. The thought of like having something planned for the last 45 minutes of the day. Like I can't imagine, but
I know, I can't even think of that. Like,
yeah.
Even like the skits nowadays, like these skits are like amazing. They're just like, I'll sit there and like, oh, how did you come up with this? This is amazing. Right?
Well, like, if you listen to Freddie's pod, like he's thinking of it all year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like he's got a note section in his phone with all the skit ideas. And like Ty's kids, they don't get to do theater during the year because during theater they do their skits.
That's right. You gotta. I
They don't
mean,
get to. That's skit practicing. We don't have time to do theater.
that's right. It's gonna be excellent. I can appreciate that.
I remember, I vividly remember your skits. So when I was like growing up, so funny, just like the same thing every week. And Tom just like, oh, Sarah.
And I'm like, what?
I was the same way. I was just, my kids like wanted to like make skits, and I'd be like, I'd cook out on Friday. Like, Billy, what are we doing? I'm like, guys, I'm thinking about it. We're gonna figure this out, though. We'll get something.
Yeah.
And usually like something would click like at the last minute. And I'd be like, all right, this is what we're doing, guys. Everybody line up.
Yep, exactly.
But now these people are like practicing, they got all these ideas. It's just like, it's amazing.
Yeah, that used to be, there used to be like one or two people who would practice. They'd like think of an idea Monday and then they'd really practice.
Right.
Wow. But I had Carly and Danielle with me, and they were like, do you want us to do it? And I'm like, no. And they like wanted to do it and like were creative in that way. And I was like, I got this, even though I hated doing it. Yeah. So, that's again, I don't know how I got through it, but it's good. But I'll say it. Bill and I said this too. Like, we feel like we got the best of it, both worlds. Like when we worked there, it was like we had such a good time, and if the kids had fun too, that's great for them.
Yeah.
But now it's so apparent that like the kids are first, like that's the focus.
Oh yeah, that vibe's totally changed. But I mean, the counselors still have a lot of fun. But like it's so much more focus on the kids and everything now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can tell it's awesome. Plus, it is cool, like coming in and you can just like kind of see. There are just certain things where you can see that the staff has clicked and like is just like in the zone, and it's almost hard to describe, but it's nice to see. And then you're like, oh, and they're like doing a great job with kids. So this is great. This place is the best.
When I came back, I was like way more into it. I was like, wow, this place is awesome. But I was still in college. So I was like, going to do the engineering thing. And then I had like a one office job for a very short stint. And I was like, there's no way I could ever do this. This is absolutely horrible.
Yep.
Like so miserable. I'm done with that. So then I was like, kind of just like, had like a couple of years where I like just bartended full time and like got the camp ready.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I guess like, John's in Texas, Shannon's a nurse practitioner in Burlington. Like someone's got to do it, So I decided, I guess that would be me. And then not until like, that right before the COVID years when we canceled, when I like really started like, this is definitely it for me. Like definitely want to do this. Like I kind of knew before that, but that's when I really like turned around. Like I'm going like, I kind of really got into it, made it the most important thing, so like really got into it.
Are your siblings like, are they excited that it's in the family? Are they envious that you get to do it? Like how do they feel about it? Like John and Shannon?
I don't know. It's funny. We never really talk about that like ever, but like, Shannon loves that I'm doing it and like, thinks it's awesome. Thinks I'm doing a great job. John, we don't really talk about it much. When we see each other, it's just like, it's not very often. So it's just like,
right. Yeah.
Like we used to like kind of butt heads a little bit back in the day, but now we become like best friends. So it's like, when we hang out, just like, we just have the best time ever. So I don't think they're really envious, but they're just like, they're happy for me and just glad it's still going on. They've, John gets to send his kids there, just ship them off for 6 weeks, and they get to go to camp, a free camp.
I know, right? It's like, it's the thought of like being kid free for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds great, right?
Pretty darn good, that's for sure. I mean, I think people will be here. I think this is what I'm hearing. I think people will be happy to hear that. It sounds like we can depend on camp being around for maybe 50 more years, which would be
that's the goal. That's what we're hoping for.
Perfect. Ooh.
Yeah, just we got Sam and I make just a great team. It's funny how like Gail and Tom work so well together. We kind of we do a little bit different, but we just work so great together, and just the communication. And
did you guys start did you like more or less take Gail's role the same year that he took Tom's role? Was it like the same time?
No. So I feel like he was feeling probably with Gail and Sue for maybe a year or two. Okay. COVID hit, and there was just like Sam and I were talking. We had talked like I don't know every day about it, because like they just didn't know what was going on. Like one day, be like, these are the rules. Like we really don't like, this is the rule. Like Then we're like, wow, we might not be able to have camp again this year. Like, just had to cancel the year before, and like,
Yeah.
we're going to webinars that generally were just an absolute massive waste of time.
Yeah.
We kind of like had to deal with that COVID thing, and from there it kind of just like took off. Where like,
Yeah.
that's where he just like kind of started coming to me with questions and things or things he needed, and then
Yeah.
now it's pretty much just him and I doing that all the time.
Like I said, I've said it on the pod a bunch of times. The parent perspective is just, it's so unlike anything I could ever prepare for. Like it just like you just look at it a totally different way. And there are just so many things that I know that you guys think about that just like it's there. Like the return on investment is there. Like you go up and you see like the same familiar faces, like right in the middle, like you, Sam, you see Gail and Sue, Kelly, like you see the same people. So you know that like the counselors are all with their kids, like, and that's like, there's that. And then there's traffic. And those are like the big interaction points as parents. And like, that's it. Like you can feel confident that your kid is going to have a good time there. It's like, it's just like, I don't know. It's yeah, no, it makes a difference. How's this year going, do you think? Is it living up?
Oh, it's living up to the hype for sure. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's like it's just been just disgustingly hot, but we're just like, you know, just put it in the back of our mind and just go. But yeah, no, like I mean, he's telling me, he's like, no, I'll have something like big every day, little, make it special. And then I'm like competition day one at camp. I'm like, wow, this is like the first, you know?
Yeah.
And it just keeps going every day. So it gets better and better.
Yeah.
Kids are just like, kids are having so much fun, and like we have a lot of new, like there's a decent amount of new kids, which you didn't generally think that we would have, but we do. And like, they just get in there and they just takes, you know, you can tell almost a new kid up the first couple of days. They're just like definitely a new kid, you know, but they just dive right in and just get right in the camp spirit. Like they've been coming for years.
Love it. How about staff? Is it a lot of returning people or?
Yeah, so the last year was tough. We had like fill so many spots, and then I think we actually lost all of our we lost our whole junior camp staff from last year. So all three of only Hillary's the only brand new head counselor. Or sort of. I mean, Todd's a brand new head counselor, but I mean, he's been at camp for the last 4 years. He's been here since 16, so yeah, 5 years now.
Okay.
In the year we've skipped, but yeah, so we lost all of junior camp, but we brought up Caitlin Panciaco, who's obviously terrific.
Yep.
And then Molly, who was in archery, who's also awesome. But other than that, so we had like almost our whole staff returning. It kind of like Sam's like so on the ball.
What do you think if Kelly ever stops being the pool director and maybe makes a leap to junior camp or something?
Well, she's been talking about wanting to do that. That's why we have brought in like a co-pool or assistant pool director this year.
Oh,
this is the first time we've ever had an assistant pool director.
Who is it?
Katie DiBiasio.
Oh, okay. I've heard the name. Yep. Yeah.
So she was actually in that the tribe that with Trisha and them that I had my first year.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, like her sister Sarah. They both grew up. I don't know when Katie started, but Sarah, I believe, who's a lifeguard or head counselor and lifeguard now. She definitely.
Did she do traffic last year?
She did do traffic.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
She was one of the girls in traffic.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so her older sister, she's a teacher, and we like tried to bring her back in. Like, you know, how about we'll make you the assistant pool director. Like, sending you to get your certified pool operators like license. And she's like, yeah, I'm down. So I'm like, it's like hopefully we can keep. I don't know. She lives out in Western Mass right now, which is tough for us. She stays in Medway, but like maybe if she ended up closer to the area, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
A day like this year so far is a great time to be a lifeguard. You're in the pool every day, all day.
Right.
Like you probably worked when there's years where like like high 60s and like rainy or
chilly.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to go in the pool today.
Yeah. You know? It's like, kids, get in. I'll be in a minute.
Yeah, like
probably not.
You know, Tom's coming by. All the lifeguards are in sweatshirts around the pool. All the kids are all in. Like, you gotta go like this.
Yep. They need to see it dry land. Yeah. You're doing it wrong. My lips are blue. It's fine.
So funny.
Do you remember Sam as a counselor, like when you were a camper?
See, so as a camper, I don't really remember. Like, like I look back and I'm like, I was probably had Sam maybe at some point. I don't know what years he was gone or when. Do you know when he left?
I don't know when he left. I know he was not there my like last couple years. So like the early aughts, probably. I don't know how long he was
What
away
year
for.
you were there from when?
I was there until 04.
4.
Yeah. And
Okay.
he had been gone for like a little while, like maybe like
Yeah.
5 years, which like feels like an eternity in camp
Right.
years, right?
Right.
Um,
Right. But that would put it so he had definitely had me in my early years as a camper, you
yeah,
know, like
yeah,
junior camp up to maybe like Chippewa or something, probably had him. But yeah, I don't
right,
remember him those years. But then I
yeah.
remember being his assistant counselor at boating,
Hmm.
and then being like we were co-heads the one year when he had the bout with cancer. Like he wasn't sure
That's
if he was
right.
going to be able to, like, what he was going to be able to do or how much. So I was just like kind of there just to help him if he needed the day off. I could do it for him, and
That's right.
it was
Yeah.
awesome. That was a great fun year. I get to just be with Sam all summer and see what a real counselor does at tribe time and what like skits are like and things. You know, like the
Uh-huh.
first day I was like blown away. He's got like he's he's got like papers of like games that we're playing and like give like these name games and things. And I'm like, wow, so this is what real counselors do.
Whoa, this camp is
Yeah,
awesome.
it's so cool. My kids my tribe never got this.
Yep. I had the same experience. I was his, I think, assistant. It was a CIT or assistant, and the same thing. First day, he's like, "All right, let's learn each other's names." And he's like, "I'm not leaving until I know all of your names and town you live in." And I was like, and this is the like that Monday morning, that extended like whatever 15 minutes or whatever, get to know your
Yeah,
tribe. So he learns everyone's name, gets it down at lunch, like everything. And then it's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do for cookouts. And it was the first time that he put so much effort into cookouts. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it's cool to put effort into things. Like that was like, when
right,
you're like in middle school or like early high school, like that's very uncool. But I was like, oh, okay. Like this is a cool guy who like cares. Okay, I'm gonna file that away and
right.
I can do that. I mean, he should have known so early on that he was bound to be a teacher. Like
Yeah.
he's just so good at it.
So good.
And
It's amazing.
yeah, and I feel like though that's everyone now. Like I would be shocked if you don't have a weak link or if you
Right.
have a weak link right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
That was like
yeah,
when I was assistant, he's like, he tells you at lunch, like, just so you know, you have to have, if you don't know all these kids, you better know every kid's name by the end of the day. I'm like, all right. Like, that was like, as like his CIT or assistant, you had to know all the names by the end of the day. It was like not optional.
yeah,
Like he made sure of it. But like, so then that was like going when he became program director, and like I'd be standing out by the totems with him. So funny in the morning, and just like, no, he doesn't know it anymore because he's been program director for too long now. But like
yeah.
when he came fresh as a head counselor, he'd sit there like the first day and just like 220 kids walk through. He says hi by their name to every single child. I'm like, how are you doing this right now? This is insane. You
Yeah.
literally knew every single child that just name and just walk through these two totems.
Like that's huge. And
Yeah,
like that's
right.
huge, like
Crazy.
because he'll say hi to Aiden, and I'm like, all right, like that makes
Yeah,
sense that he knows his name, but like that he knows every single kid, like that
right.
again, that's another thing. It's
He
like,
still knows like a good portion of kids, but like when he
yeah,
just started at just being a head counselor, like because when
yeah,
kids come to voting, they Sam knows their name. He knew every kid's name. Like this is awesome. I don't know how
uh,
that's impressive, but like that's like when I worked under Sam. I was like, wow, so this is like this is what you want to be like. That's what you got to do. Like this,
yeah,
like really care about. He really cares about this and really genuinely cares. Like it's not just like here to have fun. Like I am. Like that's what I'm thinking right now.
right,
Like I'll be a head counselor. Let's do whatever we want. It'll be awesome. I
yeah,
have no plan,
exactly,
do nothing. I'm like, oh, this, and now like it's like I don't know where you feel like he was one of the first to really be like that. Now it's just like even the young kids are like still just going into college.
yeah.
Like people like Caitlin Panzagos, she's gonna be a freshman in college and she's got like this everything's so like great. I'm just like it's crazy.
It's totally crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I again, when I was talking to them, I'm like, I don't really, I didn't know them. They were kids when I worked there. And
Yeah.
I was just like so impressed with them. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
these girls are amazing.
They are
Like,
like the most three amazing girls in the world. It's
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to like the most popular girls at school. I'm like, am I doing okay?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Like me from a
Yeah.
podcast. But yeah, it's in such good hands.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Lucky to have them.
Absolutely. Well, lucky to have you too,
Yeah.
honestly.
Thank
Like
you.
I mean, Like, right? Like they're like
Yeah.
someone has to have that role that Gail has, right? So Gail had the
Right.
vision. It was like, we're going to do a camp, but like, she's, as we learned, she's 86. Like
Right.
if someone's not going to carry that on, then, then you've got 50 houses on that property and that's it. So
Exactly.
it like, we're all like from the outside, all like my camp friends I grew up, we're all so happy. We're like, oh, okay. Like it's continuing. Like
Oh,
we're
yeah.
happy. We're good. So
Yeah, it's
that's
crazy just how many, like, just now that I do all the registration, like seeing all these people, like not even only like you guys that, like, everybody knows that, like, but sending their kids, but like got like who else this year? Like Corey Cedarquist, who lives in Brooklyn, New York, just sending his
no,
kids for one session. Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. It's like they're staying with his parents in Franklin.
That's
Like,
awesome.
and then I got another just like past camper, or maybe I don't think it was just past camper who live out in Western Mass.
Yeah.
But like they own actually Exhibit A brewery in Framingham. So he like brings his kid for one session from like Palmer, Mass, comes to camp. It's like it's crazy.
Where are you from? Palmer? Okay.
And then just like so many of the applications, like, how did you hear about camp? Like, mom and dad like went here as campers, or mom was here as a camper. It's just like there's so many of them now. It's just like generation after generation. It's amazing. Like there's
That's
not many places like that out there. It's like
that's really
just keep coming
cool.
back. So awesome.
Ooh, that's really cool. I didn't realize the extent of it.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I never knew it either until just like this year. I really took over the full registration. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, there's so many of these people that went here
Yeah.
as kids or grant. Like, yeah, it's just like it's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I know. So when I talked to Corey Burns and John Crowley, and I was like, he's like, why are my kids not going here? He's like, I should just drop them with my parents. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
And they like, I was like, you like his cousin, their cousins will be there. Like, you should absolutely be doing this. He's like, I gotta do
Yeah.
this. I'm like, yeah, like whatever.
yeah.
Bring your
It's-
kids for 2 weeks.
We just got like Shannon Delaney's kid first
Yeah.
time this year. Now she's coming like 4 weeks this summer.
That's
So
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. Kelly told me she ran into Shannon. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
great.
guess she's been busy at work, but yeah, we haven't seen. I think it was yesterday. I think it might have been yesterday. It was the first time we saw her. It was so good to see her. I haven't seen her forever.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Camp Shannon is the best Shannon.
Yeah,
So much fun.
Oh, so much fun. I was like selling wood for a while, so I was actually seeing she would buy wood off me. So I'd like go over there and like chat with her a little bit when I drop it off. So I've seen her a few times. She's so funny, but yeah.
Yeah. I think Addison's with the squirrels this session.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aiden likes him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an
Um,
awesome kid. But like
That's
you
awesome.
saw where he came when he started, you'd be like, who is this child now?
That's
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
and so I think that's the stuff that like you guys have a unique perspective of, because like you like hear about it in more detail from the parents and stuff, and you see it. And
Right.
like on this side of the fence, we know that our kids love it there and do great, but you guys get
Right.
to see like really the extent of it, and that's awesome. Like that's
Yeah.
like the least that that like
Right.
that you can. That's great.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it, man.
cool to like see the journey sometimes for some of the kids and the counselors, like when they started, and just like even
Yeah.
like listening to Turtle, who I'm actually really good friends with too. Turtle,
Yeah.
it's like hearing him talk about like how he grew from camp, because like coming in, he's just like this little turtle, and then he
Yep.
just became just such a just helped him out so much through the year. So
Well,
so cool to hear that.
he so there was a moment in time, it was probably just a couple of months ago, that I was like, all right, I'm gonna like follow everyone who follows camp. Like, I'm just gonna do it, whatever. I was like incrementally doing it, but it's like it's
Yeah.
weird. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I do it. And I get a message from him at like 2:30 in the morning. He's like, why am I just hearing about this? He's like, I will be on like ASAP. I was like, all right.
Love
man."
that.
And then I
So
talked to
funny.
him, and it's like he just loves it. He just
Oh, yeah.
loves it. And I'm like, it's so cool that like it's all walks of life. Like people like, I just assume like with me, like when I was talking to my friend Aaron, he's like, you always loved camp. I was like, yeah. But it's like, I'm like, it's not just me anymore.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm like,
it's
it's everyone. So
I think it made people realize like how much they really loved camp. They didn't really realize until you started your podcast. I'm like, oh, wow, man, I really did love that place. I missed that place.
yeah, that makes me so happy. And that must be very validating for you guys too, to be like, all right, like we're obviously doing something
Oh, it's
like
amazing.
really right if we're you know, people are going out of their way to come back and make sure their
Right.
kids have the experience. So, or like
Yeah.
starting a podcast like a friggin' maniac. So
Yeah, this lady's not a little nuts. Huh? She's starting a podcast about camp.
yeah. I think that the timing works out with it being the 50th. Like
Oh, yeah,
just
worked out
kind of it was
awesome.
like, let's amp it up. So
Yeah,
I'm
like
psyched.
bringing people back into like the memories and everything. It's just, you know, like guys, when I started listening, I was just like hooked, you know, gets your emotions going, you know, like hearing people say things makes it back. I'm like,
Yep.
you know, I get so happy, you're like crying while you're driving almost. Like, this is what am I doing right now?
Right.
Listen to Sarah's podcast crying in my car. What's wrong with me?
But it gets you like in the middle of February when it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so everything's it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, like counselor competitions. That's fun. So,
I
yeah.
don't remember when that was, but yeah, when I just like wasn't listening at all, and then I got like listened to the first one, and I'm just like, oh, I told you.
Yeah.
It was like 3 days in, I had like 14 episodes down.
Right.
Like, I forget where I was, like everywhere I was driving, was like, I just like the guys just kept driving. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking another loop.
Yep. See how this ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really fun. It's been really fun to like
We love it.
talk to like my idols basically.
Yeah.
And then like talk to the every time I talk to someone who's working there now, I'm just like, wow, I'm so impressed with you. Like you like all of it. It was like Freddie, it was Shay, Freddie, Colby, Pansiakos.
Think.
Yep. Think was great. It was
Think
it's like, and it was just like, these kids are awesome. Like they're so wonderful. And it was like, it was nice because I would ask Ty, I was like, you gotta like help me get someone.
Great. Ty's a great mediator too, to be there in the conversation. So he's perfect with that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been, we'll keep it going as long as there are stories to tell. That
Yeah, just like that, those kind of stories. And then like the emails I get from parents are just like, wow, we're doing something. Like Gail started this, like her vision was for this place to like, you know, everybody to fit in, like doesn't matter who you are, everybody's equal. And like,
yep.
She started it and they did it. And now it's just still going so strong, even like in a world we live in today. It doesn't matter, it's still going.
That's amazing. Hey, whose idea was it to do the gray shirts with the green ringers for this year?
That's one of Carrie's touches.
I like them.
Carrie's been like adding little things, and I'm just like every time I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's go for it, Carrie. Let's run with it.
Yeah, they look good.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they look
good.
good.
Bring like that retro shirt style back. So cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and even the camp shirt, she designed the camp shirt this year too. Those things are awesome.
Yep, that's right. Nice and bright. We've got them. Got our two here.
Awesome. Love it.
Love it.